Hey everyone, and welcome back to this week's episode of Wizbit's Random Gaming. And today we're heading down to Brentwood to check out Retro Giant 2. Now I know Steve and Lucy, who run the Retro Giant in Romford, and they've had this shop for quite a while, but I've just not managed to get down there, even though it is pretty close to where I'm located. But today that's going to change. I'm going to check this shop out today, pick up a few bits as well, and show you guys what's in stock currently in early 2025. Now if you happen to like this kind of content, gameplay videos, news and views, game hunts, all that kind of stuff, please take the time to consider subscribing to the channel. It helps out massively, and if you mention me, if you see me out and about, I'll buy you 6 chicken nuggets and a small fries. Alright then, maybe a milkshake as well. Anyway, as we enter the shop, we're greeted with some Mega Drive stuff, some Super Nintendo stuff, some nice accessories as well. I do love that Nintendo Wii control pad there, the red one. Really striking control pad. Got a few PS Vita games here as well. Now, anyone that's a Vita collector, just to let you know, Steve and Lucy have got a whole host of Vita games in the Romford store. I tell you, absolutely loads. Check out my previous video if you want to have a closer look at that. Alternatively, better still, go down, pay them a visit. Got a lovely selection of PS1 here. I wanted to walk away with a PlayStation 1 game today for some reason or another, and there was a lot to choose from. I don't actively collect for the PlayStation 1. I just buy pretty much select titles that I like or have some sort of nostalgia with. And this one caught my eye, Smackdown 2. Definitely a game that I absolutely hammered during the old chipped PlayStation 1 days. I think in the late 90s we all had one of those, didn't we? ECW Hardcore Revolution as well, another wrestling game, but one that I didn't really like. It was kind of like Activision just basically ripped off their previous WWF game, which was Warzone, and just gave it an ECW skin. Fear Effect there, a game I've never got into. Should I pick that one up? Fear Effect 2 as well. Now, I've wanted to do a video on this monstrosity for some time. Simpsons and Wrestling have got to be one of the worst games I've ever played, and I bought that on day one at full price. How naive I was. I combined my love of wrestling at the time with my love of Simpsons, thinking there was going to be a good game somewhere underneath that, but boy was I wrong. Now, as I said, definitely a great selection of PlayStation 1 games, and yet there's still more on the other wall. Now, I've liked the look of this Sheepdog and the Wolf game on the PlayStation for some time. Not a bad price on that one. Anyone played it? Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on that one. I would like to pick that one up, but I wouldn't mind getting some feedback from some real gamers rather than having a look at some reviews on that one. It looks fine to me. It looks like a traditional standard PlayStation 1 game from that era, but it's definitely something I like the look of. Let me know in the comments below what your thoughts are on that game. Now, I've got no idea about that Dr. V64 thing. I was going to ask about it. I'm sure it's a knockoff N64 that can play various regions of games and stuff like that, but I ended up in a conversation with Steve talking about some other bits and bobs and completely forgot. Again, if you know anything about the Dr. V64, let me know in the comments below. It looked like a bit of a tank, but then the N64 wasn't the most attractive console to look at either, was it? Unless you had one of those lovely neon ones. Not a bad selection of PlayStation 4 stuff here today, and you might notice a few gaps as we go along the shop tour here today. The reason being, Steve was telling me, obviously he's still trying to stock back up after the Christmas rush, and he was also taking a bit of stock out of this Brentwood shop to fill up the Romford shop, as that is obviously the more established shop and has the higher footfall. But still, despite that, there's still a great plethora of games here to choose from today. And I was considering that Aladdin and Lion King on the PlayStation 4. I did previously own that, but I am more wanting the one that's actually got the Jungle Book on it as well. There's actually a triple pack. I think I'll hang out and wait until I find that one at a reasonable price. Now, for anyone that wants to take a visit to this shop, Brentwood Station on the Elizabeth line, it's literally 3 or 4 minute walk away from the station. I will leave a link to their socials below in the intro of the video, so check it out. It'll also have the details of their Romford shop as well. And I really like the look of that Call of Duty steelbook there. I'm not a Call of Duty fan, but I do love a steelbook. The colours on that steelbook for me really popped. Now, Little Britain there, possibly a game that's worse than Simpsons Wrestling, and I didn't think I'd be saying that today. 24 on the PlayStation 2, a very underrated game, that one, considering the price it goes for. It's literally a couple of pound or a pound in most places you go, and I've played it, not all the way through it, but I really enjoyed what I did play of that game. It's definitely better than the price suggests. Now let's have a look at some N64 stuff and a few of the Nintendo cardboard bits and bobs they've got in stock inside the glass cabinets. Apologies for the lighting in the shop. It's more so my phone can't get a good picture really, I'd say. Steve, they've got lights with the fittings and it looks great in store, just doesn't lend itself very well to when I'm filming. Got Q*bert there, that game in the arcade. As I was growing up, I spent so much money on that in a social club, working man's club, which my parents used to go to, and I never got nowhere on that game. I'm not sure if it gave me a love of the game or a hatred of the game. Somewhere in the middle, I'd definitely say. Some nice Game Boy Color bits here as well. That Looney Tunes was in really nice condition. Bayou Billy on the NES. That game was really difficult, and you know what? It doesn't get rated that highly, but for me it tried a lot of things in an era where people were just releasing games that was, you know, they stuck to a formula. Bayou Billy didn't do that. It had light gun sections, driving sections, beat 'em up sections. It's just unfortunate that not one of those sections was really that good. It was just, everything was kind of average. Difficult as well. Lovely copy of Shadowgate there on the NES. And The Boy and His Blob. Now, I never really could get into that game growing up. I've got the Nintendo Wii version. I really should try it at some point. Actually, 2 copies of My Boy and His Blob in stock here today. Mega Man 2 as well, possibly my favourite of the Mega Man series. And there's another game at the top there that is rated really highly in Maniac Mansion. Not my sort of game, but I know it's thought of quite highly. And there's a game I absolutely love. Jackie Chan on the NES. Don't get that one confused with the PlayStation 1 game. This one is more a standard platformer with your boss fights at the end. But a brilliant game nevertheless. And it also is on the PC Engine. Now, always nice to see some of this big box stuff. Like, look at this, Premier Manager 2. You can just guarantee that some people lost so many hours of their life growing up playing a game like that. Some really nice bits in here as well. Some really nice Sega Saturn games, as you can see. I think that was the Gamecom there as well. Terrible piece, but lovely for collectors nevertheless. Now look at this. I've seen this only once, and that is with Steve's shops. The Game Gear Coca-Cola edition. Sure, it's got a bit of a hefty price, but I've never seen that anywhere else other than in Steve's possession. Again, you're going to see some gaps here today, so the Switch selection not too big, but like I said earlier in the video, that is due to them pushing a lot of their stock down to their Romford branch for the Christmas rush. And it's going to be the same in most game shops you go to. Let's use CEX as an example here. A lot of CEXs you would have gone to in the first week of January, they've been blitzed. Small selection of GameCube here and a few Wii U bits as well. Now with me going for the full Wii U collection, I'm definitely keen to see if there's anything in here that I'm after. Now I tried to explain to my middle son Archie about the Super Scope. He sarcastically answered me, "Wow, that's amazing, Dad," and casually walked off. Don't blame him, to be honest. Lovely condition Master System there. Look at that. That's really clean, that box. Shout out to Nikki from Comics and Retro. I did think about buying that one for you today, pal. Now, I love the Sega Saturn. I'm not a huge fan of the boxes that the games came in. Wasn't really made to last, but here you can see there's some that definitely stood the test of time. Got Sam Fisher here keeping an eye out on the street to see if there's any unruly characters looking to come in. He's in a bit of a compromising position, I must say, but he seems to be okay with it. Now, I love collecting for the OG Xbox, so always having a look to see what's in stock. There was 1 or 2 games that are definitely in here that piqued my interest, and I'll let you have a look at the end of the video when I show you my pickups to see if I picked anything up on the OG Xbox today. Nice copy of The Witcher 2 there. Mostly games I've pretty much already got along the 360 section, and also with the Xbox One. If there's anything that I wanted, I probably already had it. But like most retailers, they struggle to sell the Xbox One stuff. Game Pass has had a huge part to play in that. Anyway, let's have a look at what I picked up today. We got Wii Party U, as I'm going for the full set. And I had a credit note today, so I used that on this game today. So effectively, pretty much got this one for nothing. But at £15, definitely one that I didn't want to be paying real cash for. Alien vs Predator extension on the OG Xbox. Now, I've never played this. Steve, as I purchased it, said this is a really good game. So I trust in him, and it looks good anyway. So I do think I'll be playing this one in the not so distant future. And yes, I picked this monstrosity of a game up. I want to do a video on this one. Definitely some nostalgia on this game, but not really good nostalgia, shall we say. Yeah, it's a terrible game, but something that I'm quite looking forward to doing a video on. I think it's going to be quite entertaining, should be quite fun, and you'll probably see quite an angry side of me at some point during the video that I make of this game. Certain questions will be asked. Not sure if they're going to get answered though. And yeah, like I said, I'm a sucker for a good steelbook. So I did pick up this Call of Duty steelbook. I really like it. I love the colours on it, and it was in pretty good condition. It's something I've seen quite often when I'm out and about, but it's one of those steelbooks that suffers from rust quite often when you see it. And this one, luckily, it didn't have none of that. So I was quite happy to add this to the collection. I think the colours pop. They look really nice. And no, I probably won't be playing it, but still I'm happy to have it nevertheless. Right, so there you have it, guys. That was Retro Giant 2 based in Brentwood. Few-minute walk from the station. I highly recommend you guys get down there if you're in that area. Even travelling, it's worthwhile. The owners are great people. Steve is normally in that shop, always up for a chat. Very knowledgeable guy and very friendly as well. Now keep an eye on the channel. I'm going to be doing some interviews with some shop owners in the near future. I'm trying to organise a few as we go along. Steve from Retro Giant has agreed to also do one, so he will be the first one. When that will be, I don't know, but stay tuned for that one. In the meantime, as always, thanks for watching, guys. Take the time to give us a like, give us a share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.